Once upon a time, there was a man named Jope-San. He was a very talented artist, and during the day and during the night, he was secretly known as the best F1 racing driver to exist. But nobody ever knew his true identity as the humble artist of the Lord Cat Mafia. No, he was the world-famous F1 racing driver Jope-San, who drove at 1,000 miles an hour, could eat a cookie and drink milk all at the same time while giving birth out of a specialized hole in his back that he had implanted when he was really, really young in a weird science experiment gone horribly wrong. Well, this led to some complications as he was impregnated one day by a gigantic elephant. Nobody knows how he got impregnated by an elephant, but apparently he was carrying an elephant womb. While he was in an F1 racing car, suddenly he felt a tingling in his back, then a tremendous pushing. He tried to give birth while racing in his F1 racing car at 1,000 miles an hour. Unfortunately for him, he was unable to do so because the G-forces kept the elephant in his back. Well, unable to be birthed, the elephant decided to transmorph into Jope-San and then became Jope-Fant. Jope-Fant was an amazing big thing that did amazing big thing stuff, like walk around and then walk around some more. He wasn't quite the F1 racing driver that he used to be. But that's okay, because he was an amazing artist, and he made a lot of money in the circus as a freak act. There once was a man named Nightedge, who traveled far and wide to sell his wares. He had a spoon, a fork, and a panda named Betty. But we don't know why it was called Betty, since the panda itself was a man, but that's okay. He traveled throughout this great country of ours, hawking his amazing spoon and fork, but the panda spoke up one day when he was in North Dakota and said, "Sir, I think we need to discuss what it means to be a traveling salesman. You see, sir, the problem here is you have no money and you haven't been able to eat for over a month now. I think you might be delirious, and in fact, I think you should stop and try to get some food." Confused, the Nightedge looked at the panda and said, "But I've no money. I've not but a spoon and a fork and a talking panda bear." And that's when it hit him. Nightedge took the panda bear and sold it to a man named Rubble, Mr. Bonnie Rubble. The panda was upset. It didn't know it was a slave to the Nightedge, so it got angry, burst into flames, and died. The panda then went extinct after that, and soon Nightedge was hunted down by every national government around the world, or at least every recognized government around the world. There was no place he could hide, no place he could run, that the Nightedge would not be undone. Except one place. That place? North Korea. North Korea. Nightedge knew he would have to flee there, and so he did. He fled to North Korea, where the Kim family gladly accepted him as a refugee of the oppressive American government, and he became a poster child for the savior North Korea, who would save the weak, helpless, dirty Americans from their oppressive government. Nightedge soon realized that the deal he struck was a terrible deal, and instead of staying there in North Korea, leaving the lie that he chose to live, he decided to leave North Korea and went to more fertile grounds. He moved to Haiti. Nightedge was kind of a dumbass, let's be honest, but, at least he had morals about him, at least he had some meaning in his life, at least he knew that he couldn't just stay somewhere like that and hope for the best. No, he had to change his life, he had to change what was going on, and fortunately for Nightedge, he found the answer. He flew to the moon! After flying to the moon on his pet octopus, Nightedge realized he made a terrible, terrible mistake. He can't breathe without this atmosphere of the earth, he said to himself. So he was a bit, confused and befuddled and a little concerned that the fact that he couldn't breathe was kind of him inhibiting his ability to live. So he came back to Earth, but instead built an underground lair, an underwater lair under the ocean, where Nightedge lives to this day, terrorizing the people of America for ostracizing him for his want of selling pandas. He is now the supervillain.
That was a ride from start to finish.
Well, it started and it finished. That's about as much as I can say. And I still have my pet moon octopus. Hell yeah. This is the story of Nilok, a man who has too much time on his hands, but not enough ability to travel through space.
Wait, too much time? That's funny.
Yes, for you see, Nilok was actually a master of time, for he could travel at exactly C, and so time did not exist for him, nor the distance. But the problem is that he was unable to get anywhere because he was everywhere at once, and thus if they'd measured him in one location, he was almost certainly guaranteed to not be there since he was everywhere else too. Nilok had a serious social problem. So in order to fix this, he blew up the universe. The end.
Sounds about right.
One day, Potatosalad was frolicking through the forest. He was picking berries for his dear old dying grandmama, who laid sick at home, wishing nothing more than to see her grandson yet again, as her daughter and son were both dead, and he was the only living relative she had left. But Potatosalad saw something in the forest that day. A portal to where he did not know, for it was black in nature, and it smelled of ozone and cream cheese. He could only guess as to its very cause and what it led to, but he knew he had to do something about it, for this pontificus odor of cream cheese would soon permeate the forest that he was prancing through. So Potatosalad stepped through the portal and entered into the misery known as the American grocery store. Trapped, he had nowhere to go but to wait in line while some lady paid with pennies and a wick check. He had to stand there for hours he did, while the berries, his freshly picked berries, would rot away in his hands, stifled by the stymied heat of New York City and the humidity of the bodies around him. Potatosalad was forced to eat the berries he had picked, otherwise they would rot, he would starve, and the story would end prematurely. Well, store security did not like this, not at all. They don't like it when people eat their berries. You're not supposed to eat their berries. You need to pay for them first. But Potatosalad didn't pay for the berries that he picked before he came here. But he had no proof. He had no store receipt. He picked them from a forest, and what good forest gives you a receipt? No. He was trapped in the security office while the security loss prevention team interrogated him about why he was eating berries that he had yet to pay for and how he planned to reconcile this behavior. But Potatosalad had enough! The smell of cream cheese and the crackle of ozone had pushed him over the edge, and Potatosalad suddenly transformed into Potato Tank. He wrecked the grocery store, destroyed the loss prevention officers, and ran off to find his forest yet again. Potato Tank was enraged. He was furious, and he took out every big box store along the way. No longer could you find overpriced computer items. No longer would you be able to buy overpriced refrigerators. No longer would you stand in line for customer service that was non-existent. No. Potatosalad had guaranteed their destruction, but Potato Tank was not done. In his rage, he found the very forest he was picking berries in, and leveled it out of anger, also so that no one may find the portal to the grocery store and see the havoc that he had wreaked. After realizing that he destroyed the one very place that he loved, he went back to his grandmother, no longer Potato Tank, but Potatosalad yet again. This time, Potatosalad was mournful and regretful and asked his grandmother, "What have I done? Oh Lord, what have I done?" Well, he did something all right. He did something no man should ever do. His grandmother told him exactly that. "Son," she said, "I don't think you did anything wrong this day. You saved us from the great big box store apocalypse of 2014. And for that, the world owes you a debt of gratitude. Here," she coughed. "Take this." It was a Rubik's Cube. Potatosalad looked at the Rubik's Cube curiously and then ate it. Grandma sighed and shook her head and said, "Son, you're kind of fucking dumb." And she died. Blah. The end.
I feel like asking questions about that story would just be a bad idea.
I love the idea of Potato Tank. Potatosalad transformed. Potato Tank engaged. It was a delicious Rubik's Cube. I don't know what Grandma thought. Oh, God. One day, a long, long time ago in the future, WearyKatie was reading a book. What the book was about really wasn't that important. Instead, it was the events that happened while she was reading the book that were important. You see, for WearyKatie was abducted. Not by aliens, mind you, but by rednecks. They were very, very drunk, you see, and thought Weary was actually a telephone pole. Unfortunately for them, she was not a telephone pole. They were very, very confused when the telephone pole was yelling at them about being kidnapped. She was extremely upset, as you could possibly imagine, and so the Rednecks were very, very confused as to why this upset telephone pole was in their possession, and why it was screaming, "Oh God, help, it burns," when they tried to light a bonfire. Well, the good thing for Weary is that she never got lit on fire, because she is actually a superhero with the ability to explode people with her mind. Once she remembered that she could do that, she exploded the Rednecks with her mind. They died instantly. Weary, however, was trapped in a basement because she was tied down trying to be burned like a bonfire. Why these idiot Rednecks were trying to start a bonfire in their basement, God will never know, but she eventually broke free, burnt the house down, burnt the neighborhood down, burnt the city the Rednecks lived in down, and moved to Alaska to hide from everyone else. Nobody fucks with WearyKatie anymore.